Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, and hello Mom Nadia Makmun. As a lecturer in the English language teaching for young learners subject, my name is Muammar Kadafie and my partner Alfiah Nur Jusar. On this occasion, we are from Group 8. We'll explain material about reading and writing. Okay, let's get started. Learning to read in the L1 and L2. One view of language to read held by educationalists such as Cummins, 1979, is that the development of reading skills in a foreign language is greatly assisted if pupils have developed strong reading skills in their first language. In this view, the positive relationship between the two is a result of children being able to transfer L1 reading skills to L2. See Carlo and Royer, 1999. There is not enough research to show conclusively whether this is true or how the transfer mechanism works, although it appears to make intuitive sense to many teachers. In some contexts, it has been decided to encourage speaking first and leave reading until later, especially if the pupils are still not fully literate in their L1. Teachers of very young children may not use course book at all, or may use course books such as First Step, which rely on pictures alone. In other contexts, where they start learning English later, children may be quickly introduced to course books and their first language class and be expected to begin reading and writing in English as soon as possible. What do children already know about reading? When children learn to read successfully in their L1, they develop different forms of awareness and knowledge. Awareness and knowledge about print, the realization that print represents speech and is written in a certain direction. The challenge for children, of course, is to find out how print represents sound. Learning to read in English. The initial stages. It is important not to place too many reading demands on young learners who are still learning to read in their L1. Developing good levels of literacy in the L1 and good oral skills in the L2 are the most important objectives. Number 1. Which teaching methods are in use? Number 2. Coping with English orthography. Number 3. Developing print awareness. Number 4. Supporting reading in the initial stage. Okay, next. Reading to learn the later stages. As pupils become more confident in reading their own language, they use reading to learn after an initial introduction to English learning. Pupils will be expected to cope with the independent reading required of first book. Pupils are often introduced to and learn new vocabulary or grammar through reading short text in the form of dialogues, description, instructions, or short stories, often lavishly illustrated to support the pupils' understanding. They may be learning how to learn through their reading. Much of the advice given in the section on teaching listening also applies to teaching reading. Number 1, reading strategies. Number 2, reading activities. Number 3, reconstruction activities. Number 4, analysis activities. Number 5, reading awareness activities. And number 6 is organizing reading activities. Learning to write in the L1 and L2. The kinds of writing activities pupils do tend to fall into two sets in the same way that they do for reading. Learning to write, where pupils are involved mostly in the tightly guided copying which focus on surface features such as handwriting, spelling, punctuation, and using the correct words and grammar. In writing to learn, there may be less tightly controlled writing activities. Moving to much freer or even creative writing where there are higher cognitive demands, and a greater focus on meaning and personal expression as well as form. Okay, enough from me. The next material will be present from Alfiah Nur Jusar.
English spelling. English spelling is illogical and difficult and is not easy for young children to learn. According to Palmer, there are four main ways in which children learn the spelling of words: visual, auditory, linguistic, and kinesthetic. There are many useful spelling games you can play with young learners. Here are two examples. Hide and seek encourages children to look at groups of words and to use the look, say, cover, write, check, approach. Material is flashcard with selected words related to topic unit from course books. Say, cover, write, check technique that you can teach your pupils for self-testing their spelling is as follows. 1. Look and notice the letter shapes and number of letters. Think about the word and make a mental picture. Make this picture big then small in different color if the word is of the word. 2. Say the word and then the letter out loud. Listen carefully. 3. Write the word in the air with one finger several times. Make large and small. 4. Cover the word and try to write it correctly on paper, syllable by syllable. 5. Make sure you have a letter for each of the most important sound. 6. See if it looks right. If not, change it. 7. Now check to see if the spelling is correct. If not, repeat stage 1 through 6. Guided copying at sentence level and above can be supported through the use of support frameworks and graphic organizer such as picture rating models, tick cards, flowcards, and grids. The next stage can be practiced with more complex Venn diagrams, ending with the pupils creating their own diagrams for other pupils to create sentences. Pupils can also produce some of the activities outlined earlier, such as word search or gap filling for other pupils to complete. Digital gloss is a creative way of using gap filling and dictation that has been adapted for use with bilingual pupils of 10 and 11 years old in the UK by Jab and Hervey, 1996 from an original idea of Weinschrib, 1991. 1. The basic procedure is prepare pupils with a range of pre-listening activity to listen to a story, to introduce the topic and keywords. Give the pupils a list of the keywords. 2. Write the story once, not too fast. After the first hearing, the keywords list is reading draft and pupils find the words. Pupils listen to the text second time and while they listen, they tick off the words from the list. Afterwards, pupils complete gap filling activities. 3. Pupils retell the story orally in pairs using the completed gap filling text and picture. 4. People now retell the story in writing working in pairs or individually, trying to context the text together. They don't try to reproduce the text exactly, but recreate the main meanings with grammatical accuracy and well-organized ideas. 5. Display finished version and discuss the story product. 6. A variation is the people try to create a different ending. 7. This task involves listening for the child, predicting words, matching spoken to writing words, working out what is missing from sentence by using memory, clues from visual and the context. It also involves discussion and drafting and revising a text. Guided activities and sentence level and above for older pupils may include punching words in the correct order, matching sentence helps, and copying gap filling using visuals of words, writing caption for picture, writing speech bubbles or dialogue, creating sentence from a text card, and squishing sentence. Language requirement can be broken down into major language functions, such in the identifying, describing, and comparing people, place, and things, writing instruction, explaining simple process or causes and effects, sequencing event or classifying. The language function can then be analyzed into keywords, not only noun but also adverbs, and adverbs. And key sentence patterns for older students, structure of different type of text can be represented by visual or graphics organizer. For example, a story may have a flow chart of main events or a diagram showing characters and events. The main point is to develop an understanding of what each child is capable of, so that you build a picture of when a child tries really hard or is being a little short-sighted. You can then recognize your inquiry and effort. When the students struggle to put their own words or meanings into a sentence or text, there is not trying control. Teachers may be more inclined to comment on the context of willingness of the child to try reading. That's all from our groups. Hopefully this is useful. Last I say thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.